Tuesday, and welcome to this episode of Narc Detox. I hope that you are all well and that you are taking care of yourselves and that you are staying safe. And I'm just trying to see that this is public because last time it wasn't public when I first started. And no, it's not. Edit privacy, public. All right, welcome to this episode of Narc Detox. I am Joy. You also know me as Pink Girl Teaches, and I am here today to talk to you about abuse by proxy. This is a form of abuse. It's a form of manipulation that is employed by narcissists, where they employ what is known as a flying monkey to do their dirty bidding. Now, you may not know what a flying monkey is or what's up with these narcissists or anything like that, and that's fine. Come on in here, share the link, invite a friend, ask your questions. I'm going to be explaining everything, and you are going to walk away with a little more clarity as to what exactly abuse by proxy is, or these flying monkeys that Sis always talking about. But like, come on, go ahead and share, invite a friend, and let's talk about this. Hi, Coach Leslie, and thank you for joining. So now, what abuse by proxy is this happens when a third party is unwillingly or even unknowingly, and sometimes knowingly, employed by manipulate, embarrass, humiliate, provoke, apply social sanctions against their original target, the victim, the original victim, the source of narcissistic supply. And there are many reasons why the narcissist will do this, but simply put, it is part of the abuse cycle that is issued by a narcissist. So when the abuser, when the narcissist cannot reach the victim, they seek an accomplice. And it's not that they just can't reach the victim. Sometimes they want to up that abuse up a couple notches so that they can inflict extra pain, because let's not forget, this is insidious. And so they employ accomplices to help them get their dirty work done. And these accomplices are simply known as flying monkeys. Now, flying monkeys can be anybody. They can be friends, family members, they could be the authorities, they could be institutions, it could be the media, it could be teachers, it could be anybody. They are just a tool that the narcissist uses. They themselves are being manipulated, and oftentimes they are completely unaware. And they are, like I say, simply used to threaten, stalk, harass, tempt, convince. I did say harass, right? Or communicate with the victim so that the narcissist has a means to manipulate their target. See, the narcissist will control these unaware instruments the exact same way that they are or have been accustomed to controlling their supply, to controlling their targets or their prey. Use any one of those words, they're very interchangeable. The narcissist will employ the same tactics on these flying monkeys that they use. And so, it's just part of who they are. Once a narcissist, always a narcissist, pretty much. And that form of manipulation, that form of abuse, they apply it to anybody. And once the job is done, once the flying monkey has done what the narcissist wants them to do, guess what? They drop them. They're no longer needed. They are dropped. They are simply props used to get a job done. And once it's done, it's over until they're needed again. So now the flying monkey in itself is not a new term. The term actually comes from the Wizard of Oz. It was used, if you remember, those monkeys were used to carry out evil deeds, and that was on the narcissist's behalf. And so this term in itself has been around it's been around since 1939. So, hey, Nicole, welcome. And so, flying monkeys in essence are simply agents that the narcissist uses. That's all. And there are many different reasons why they play that role, And what actually prompted me to want to talk about this today is because, like, I've been scrolling on social media and I've been seeing so many different memes or posts being made that, one of them that really irked my soul was something like, oh, you can do 30 days in quarantine, but you've been in a toxic relationship like forever. Like, why are you gaslighting somebody? Now is not the time, And that is, to me, I would say that was written by a narcissist, or it's something that a narcissist would have a flying monkey say just to reinforce that the victim is weak, that the victim is powerless, and it's to gaslight them. And so that really irked me. And so this is kind of why I decided to talk about this, so that maybe we could be more mindful about the content that we're putting out, and also just reevaluating the positions that we're playing in people's lives, as well as how we are allowing them to possibly manipulate you, use you, that kind of thing. So again, they are agents that the narcissist uses, and sometimes it's simply because they're used because the narcissist is their boss. So they don't want to lose their position at work. They don't want to have to shift to a different department. They don't want to lose their income. They don't want to move to another job. And so, hey, welcome from all the way from Pretoria, South Africa. Nice, and thank you for joining. But there's a reason why. They also have their own motive for staying in that position and allowing the narcissist to use them to do their dirty bidding. Sometimes it's a parent, and so the parent may use a child against the other children in the house, or another child, or to the other spouse. And so you know it happens in homes too, and it's crazy because you don't choose your family, especially if you're the child and you're being made to go against one parent. Imagine how that feels to that child, knowing that, because sometimes they don't want to, sometimes they're aware, and they just feel like they feel helpless. And so while we are out here complaining about being quarantined and stuck in our houses, and we having a good time, really, or you're just safe, there are other people who are not. There are other people who are facing these realities. And so if you think that you've run out of things to pray for, well, why don't you pray for these children who are being used to be flying monkeys? Why don't you pray for those children, those parents who are in that position and they have no way of coping? Absolutely right. It's a form of guilt tripping them, but it's insidious. It goes deeper than that. That's a psychological abuse, because that's something that they're going to have to live with, and they're going to have to reconcile the role that they played in the home. And so it's so deep. It's so deep, and the damage it's devastating. Like, it has lifelong consequences for some people if they do not get any help. Sometimes people actually enjoy this, being part of this abuse, because they themselves are sadists, and they've just been manipulated to play that role. Their primary job is to offer support to the narcissist, and so they're loyal to the narcissist, and they echo the narcissist's message, and this is how they continue to perpetuate that cycle of gaslighting, that cycle of abuse. And what it does, it causes the victim, it causes the target, it causes the prey for the narcissist to, yep, it causes them to believe that they are the problem. You're so correct, because it does create situations of codependency. But and that's codependency, something that I'm so big on. And actually, on Friday, I'm going to come here on Friday, and I'm going to talk about emotional recovery dependency. So that's my topic for Friday. But you know one way that they do this is that they spread rumors about the victim. And so when more than one person is saying the same thing, people tend to believe that. And so, imagine the victim now thinking like, okay, so they got everybody in the family, everybody in the house, everybody at the job, everybody in our circle of influence, our friends, our mutual friends, they're all saying this about me. And maybe it's true, because the more people that say it, hey, Monica, welcome. The more people that are saying it, the more credible, it begins to sound to other people. And so this is now where we see the psychological abuse continue. This is where we now see abuse and proxy begin to happen. So now we know that rumors are damaging. So, this is how the victim can sometimes look at themselves. And the job of the narcissist is getting done, because now they're succeeding at putting the victim down from a distance. And narcissists thrive, because while they're putting people down, they love it. While they're putting them down, it feels like they're elevating themselves, and that's where they begin to feel a sense of importance. You have to remember that narcissist abuse is really about power and control. Sometimes sometimes flying monkeys or sometimes these agents are actually sent to encourage victims to make up with a narcissist. So like if you've broken up with them and here comes a mutual friend or whomever, even a child trying to talk you back into getting back with that narcissistic partner, they're supporting the narcissist agenda. Now I kind of think that, I've heard people say that, oh, so and so sent so and so to come talk to me so that we can get back together. And they think that that's special, or thinks that there's an added layer of love there because they had to seek somebody out to, oh, please talk to her or him on my behalf. No, that is that demonstrates the inability to communicate effectively, and you have to be mindful of that. There's nothing endearing about a third party coming to talk to you about intimate issues, or try to reconcile a relationship with you. No, they're simply supporting the narcissist agenda. And what you have to remember is the narcissist lacks the ability to empathize, and so more than likely those words are not going to be the narcissist's words. They're definitely not the narcissist's words. The flying monkey, if they're like the type that is codependent or loyal, or they're just in that awkward position that they are being used to do this, guess what, they're going to express their genuine concern, their genuine intent. They're going to come across as very believable. But guess who's not believable? It's the narcissist. So listen, what I like to tell you is once you go no contact, by all means, stay no contact. Because guess what? When you break the cycle of no contact, or let me go back up a bit. When you go no contact with a narcissist, what you are essentially doing is reclaiming your power and your position, and you are now in control of your life. You have denied the narcissist any type of contact. And when I'm talking about no contact, I'm saying block them. They can't call you, they can't text you, you've deleted the text thread, you have no pictures. It's just like a somebody hit the reboot switch, or you unplugged and you waited 30 seconds, you plugged back in and the memory bank has been corrected, right? No contact is no contact. And sometimes you have to cut off mutual friends, these people who have the potential to become flying monkeys. So when you now allow them, or you now break contact, or you break your no contact rule, should I say, especially now with this pandemic, like emotions are heightened, people are scared, people want a support system. And this is where the like narcissist will be happy to hoover you so that you can go back into their lives, and that they now begin to regain power and control over you, because that's what it's about. So if you break your no contact rule, guess what's going to happen? They are going to love bomb you to no end so that you do break your no contact. And then you're going to feel that false sense of security, that illusion of love, and you're going to be comfortable so that you can, rekindle whatever. Now, that's what they would send that flying monkey to do. So then the narcissist wins in this case. But guess what's going to happen next? The devaluation stage is going to approach much, much sooner. And especially if you are quarantined with them, that devaluation stage is going to become much sooner. And then guess what? It'll be followed by a discard. And this discard will be more hurtful, it will be more devastating than the initial discard, because they need to punish you. They need to teach you a lesson for ever thinking that you could have a life without them. They are going to try to let you know that how dare you think that you're better than me and that you don't need me when I am your God. Let's face it, narcissists really do believe that they are gods. And so, yeah. So you're absolutely right, Nicole. They do use your own family against you. And so that's why, like I was just saying, you have got to block out those family members. And, sometimes it's not that it's going to be for a lifetime, but it could be for a period of time until you yourself become more healthy, or are you've worked on your boundaries, and you've detoxed. You don't feel what you felt for the narcissist before. Hi, Charles, and welcome. So yeah, where was I? So these people, these flying monkeys, these agents can be sent to apologize. And that's simply because, like I said, the narcissist can't do it. They lack the sincerity. And so the narcissist definitely cannot offer you that same level of empathy that their flying monkey would. But the mistake that people make is that they take it as a mirror of what the narcissist is actually feeling, when that's just crazy. And like I said, personally, I think it's very destructive, and it's poor communication For a relationship to be healthy, you have to be able to communicate your feelings and your emotions to your partner. And what's even more important is that your partner should be able to accept your feelings, your thoughts, your words, and allow you to express them without using them against you, without manipulating you, without diminishing your feelings. Especially now, let's face it, like a lot of people are scared, and you want to feel safe in your relationship. And so, just be mindful of that. Like somebody else coming to apologize on their behalf, it's not cute. So I've talked about the no contact, and all right. So here are some common behaviors that flying monkeys or agents do. They look at their characteristics, or let me go back. Let's just look at their characteristics and see what their intentions are, so that you can find out why it is that they do. Like if it's friends or family, sometimes their decision to participate in this is intentional because they are nothing but busybodies with nothing else to do, and they're eager to fix other people's problems. And this is where you also see people who have a tendency to be codependent, or to have poor personal boundaries, or they're people pleasers, and so they want to fix other people's problems regardless, as to whether it makes sense or not. They neglect their own personal development and focus on other people's because it makes them feel better, or it gives them a sense of fulfillment. And so this type of person tends to like drama, and the narcissist loves drama. And what's happening in the world now is so dramatic. And so the narcissist will use this person to manufacture drama, or the narcissist will feed into this person's need for drama. So they'll manufacture all types of things. And sometimes there really is no ill intent with this person. They just want to, they just want to see things get better. But that's because they only know one side of the dynamic. They themselves too have been manipulated to see things that way. But their intentions really are, they're not to hurt, but they're just a busybody and they know no better. But then you do have those that have ill intentions. These are the ill intentioned busybodies. These are the troublemakers. And these are the ones that the narcissist will use to spread rumors. And this is simply because they'll participate simply because they love to see destruction. And that's regardless as to what the narcissist agenda is. So they're very easy for the narcissist to use. They want to see, as much confusion go on because they thrive in that. And then that raises the question, well, are they narcissists themselves? And more likely they have narcissistic traits. Whether they are full-blown narcissists, maybe, maybe not, but they definitely do have traits. And so that's why they're very comfortable doing that. Then you have those people who are just loyal to the narcissist, and they understand their role. They can be very well aware of what they're doing, and they're simply doing it because they're loyal. And this is where it's so dangerous. And I personally do not like the whole ride or die term. Like, where are we riding to, and why does anybody have to die? Like, I'll never be a ride or die type of chick. Like, I'm either going to be loyal to you, but I'm not losing my common sense in the process. So your ride or die types will be the ones who jump in on this and don't even care, no questions asked, boo, we pulling up, whatever. And so that in itself is toxic, because these ones, they're the ones who will take the direct orders from the narcissist, where it's like, go stalk her Facebook, go harass his new girlfriend. They're comfortable with it. They don't care. They're gonna do it. And you also have your weak agents, your weak flying monkeys, and they're simply not strong enough to resist the will of the narcissist. And it's, they themselves are easily manipulated, and they are fearful. And sometimes this is the case for employees. It could be the case for children also. But they will still manipulate the victims of they'll still manipulate the the victim, the prey, the target. And now all of this is part of what we will call triangulation. Now, if you think about a triangle, top and then the two sides, whatever. So your narcissist will sit at the top, and then on the side they're different people. And let's just say, for example, to make it make sense, let me use me for example, right? So there's the narcissist, and then there's the narcissist, and then there's me, right? One partner. And then there could be they will use another one. Like I always tell you, when you go no contact with the narcissist, please do not take this thing lightly. Don't ever think that me or whoever else is telling you to stay no contact is playing. We're telling you from experience. We're telling you from research. We're telling you from knowing what we know, that when you go no contact, stay no contact, they will triangulate you with new partners. This is where we have the whole X recycling. They shelf you and they will use you to make their new or people that they are interested, their new partners or those that they are interested in, jealous or make them seem more important, or just use you for added attention and to triangulate. And so when you're being triangulated, that's simply putting one partner against another. It could be making you feel like, oh, you know what, I this chick here wants me. And yeah, that's right, Monica. This chick wants me, just to play with your mind. Like, I can't really say what I want to say because it involves too many cuss words, but it's just messing with your mind, okay? And so they will use one against the other. That's where you see like one woman is so comfortable to approach another woman and be like, hey, in her, my man, this and that, or whatever, and or call her names. And that woman doesn't even have to be a romantic interest, but it's just another woman. And so, you're there feeling insecure, you're questioning yourself, your appearance, your abilities, your resources, just everything. But that's the goal, is to mess with your mind. Remember, narcissistic abuse is nothing but psychological abuse. That's what it is. Yes, it's emotional too, but more than that, it's psychological. They're going in your mind and messing with your mind. So, go no contact, stay no contact, and really recognize the value that you have as an individual. Like, who in the world wants to sit on a shelf and be treated like, you know what? I'm gonna show you my little Cabbage Patch. I collect Cabbage Patch dolls. Okay, so I happen to have one right here. So here's my Cabbage Patch, right? Can you imagine like they thinking that this is, you are like this Cabbage Patch, and then setting you on a shelf until they feel like, you know what? I, I'm ready to mess with her again. So let me bring her back into this rotation cycle and continue to mess with her mind. Or even if it's a man, because now, women do these things too. We have toxic women, we have narcissistic women too. So just think of yourself. Can you really see yourself as this doll sitting on a shelf, waiting for somebody to say, it's time for me to take her out of circulation and begin to mess with her? Like, you are more than that. Like, you are so much more than that, and nobody should have that kind of control or power over you. So reclaim your power, no contact. And if you are in the house with them now is a good time to gray rock or to gray wall them. And even if that's what the flying monkeys are coming into your life, a lot of people ask, like, how do you convert the flying monkey? How do you convert this agent to be on your side? And you got to be careful with for what you're asking or what you're saying. If it's an employee or the loyal type, that's really hard. But sometimes you have a few options. Sometimes just act, and this is like the gray rocking. Act unimpressed. What they say shouldn't bother you. What I'll come back to you, Monica. You have to be confident in yourself. Even if you don't feel confident, when they approach you, act confident, act unbothered, mysterious, dismissive, change the topic. Sometimes mess with them. Yeah, go ahead and mess with them. Ask them about, like, hey, how are you doing? How is everything going on with your family? Is everybody okay? Is there anything that you need? Like, mess with their minds, because now you've taken the focus of what they were sent to do, and now you're forcing them to think. And sometimes that's what it's going to take to pull people back into reality, that they're not going to, it'll just disrupt their pattern of thinking, depending on what type of intentions that they have, and because at the end of the day, the goal is for them to have information to give back to the narcissist. Now, that is going to be a source of narcissistic supply. Narcissistic supply can be anything that will make the narcissist feel better about themselves. It's anything that's going to make them feel like they have power and control over you. So now, if you're dismissive, if you are not giving them any information, because they may be like, hey, Joy, how are you feeling about, so and so not being in your life? Don't you miss him or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm good over here. And so if they take that back to the narcissist, guess what you just did? You did what we call issue a narcissistic injury. And when you do that, you gotta have some tough skin, because I remember when I first had to do this, my skin was so thin, and my little feelings were getting hurt. But you got to have tough skin, because once you do that, they're going to come to you and be like, oh, or they're going to start this smear campaign where they're going to talk negatively and spread rumors about you. Like, imagine having whole posts dedicated to you and what a fraud you are. Like, you call yourself Project Real Love, but you're spreading hate. You call yourself this and that, or just telling people lies about you. You've got to ignore all of that. So when you are dismissive, and when you are not feeding into it, just expect that to happen. And your best response to a smear campaign is nothing. It's nothing. Sometimes you just have to tune out everybody and everything. And that's why it's important, like, to reevaluate your circle. It's important to reevaluate those who you're allowing to speak to you, and to, because sometimes, again, you don't know who the agent is, and so you don't want any information to go back that will reinforce this behavior. Because when you are dismissive, what are you reinforcing? That she's fine, he's fine without me. And so what is the narcissist going to do? Because they got a blow to their ego, they're going to retreat. The only thing they're going to do is that smear campaign, but that is going to go away in time. And if you do find yourself a victim to this, you have I would encourage you. There are so many support communities for narcissists or victims of narcissist abuse. There are many support communities. Here is one, but there's so many on YouTube, here on Facebook. Search in groups. Find a coach that can help you, or you might need to see a therapist or see a counselor. And there are things like BetterHelp, where you can actually get therapy on your phone. You can actually text your therapist and do it right now in your home, or reach out to somebody and let them know how you're doing. Like, especially if things may be volatile in your house, or the narcissist during this period is violent, then have a keyword that you text somebody, or that you inbox or DM them. Could be pineapples for all I care. Whatever your word is, let your keyword be known, and that means that check up on me, or that means call the police, something, so that you can protect yourself. Because, like, we're in uncharted waters. Nobody knows what tomorrow is going to be like, but you want to protect yourself. And so, like I said, I'm kind of come back on Friday, and I'm going to talk about emotional recovery for codependency. This is going to help you break through that codependent spell, because yeah, we're quarantined, and yeah, you may be facing a lot of difficulties now with this narcissist, but it's a great time for you to begin to start planning your exit strategy. You may not be able to leave until this is all over, but you're allowing yourself mentally, emotionally, psychologically to prepare. And so I will definitely have some information on that will help you. And I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Narc Detox. Like, listen, we're breaking every barrier, or we're breaking through psychological prisons. And I'm here to tell the truth about what narcissist abuse is. Don't believe that, you can't be free from it, or that it defines you, because it doesn't matter where you start. What matters is where you end, and how you start out doesn't define how you're going to end, but you can come out. And that's what I want you to know. And so, share the video, tag somebody who might need this information. You may not want to, if they don't want it public, you can go ahead and send it into their inbox, or you can find me again. I'll be putting this video on YouTube. Pink Girl Teaches. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and God bless.